Hey folks, Chef Cutting here. Thank you so much. I want to talk to you about a great dessert that I'm making. It's called chocolate mousse with fruit skewers. And these fruit skewers that are going to go on this mousse are going to be so dramatic. And how am I doing it? Well, you're going to see in just a moment in our test kitchen, but I'm using Foodstuff to help me out. Now, the folks at Foodstuff have got all sorts of awesome different disposable consumables that you can put on your plates and really enhance and make a much more dramatic presentation. And you're going to see that with this dessert. So without any further ado, let's get in my test kitchen and let's make chocolate mousse with fruit skewers.
All right, let's go ahead and get started here. We are making chocolate mousse with fruit skewers. I'm going to show you what we're going to be using, and just so I can just say this to say it, I'm really looking forward to making this because Foodstuff.Biz is really the place to get all this awesome looking stuff to really enhance your plates. And I'm specifically talking about this really cool acrylic cup. Of course it's disposable, but it looks like glass. And I also have this nice bamboo skewer, which is really decorated at the top with that loop, and I'm going to be using my fruit with that. And this is really cool. This is called an infuser, and I'm going to use this to put a finishing touch on this wonderful little appetizer dessert that you can hand out. And I call it an appetizer dessert because it's not big enough to be called a dessert, but rather an appetizer to a larger dessert. So we're going to be using those tools from Foodstuff.Biz, and we're going to just get busy with this recipe and dig in right now. So first thing we got here is 2 tablespoons of semi-sweet chocolate. I've got about a tablespoon of blueberries, a tablespoon of raspberries, and you know, you can use whatever fruits in season to make this recipe. I have a half a cup of whipping cream. I have a teaspoon of canola oil, and make sure you use canola oil. Do not use any other kind of oil. Canola oil has no flavor, and so this is why I'm using it. And then I have a teaspoon, or maybe more like a tablespoon of Kahlua, but teaspoon is good. A little more never hurts. So and we're going to show you what we're going to do with these 2 things later. But right now what we're going to do is we're going to make the chocolate mousse. And the way we're going to do that is I have put a bowl in the freezer to get it nice and cool. We're going to whip up that cream, and then we're going to take the chocolate, melt it with the canola oil, and fold it in there to make a really cool mousse. So without any further ado, let's get started. Alright, so we're going to take these chocolate chips. I'm going to throw them in the microwave for about a minute, and after that, just 10 seconds at a time, just to make sure that they don't burn. Now, if you were making a larger batch and making maybe 20 of these or 20 plus, you'd want to use a double boiler and put a pan over some boiling water on a low heat and melt the chocolate that way, always whisking it to continue to keep it melted. But seeing that we're only going to make a couple of these, I'm just going to use the microwave. So I'm going to put it in the microwave for 1 minute, and then we're going to see what it looks like. Okay, I just took that out of the microwave. We're going to have a look at that and see how that's looking. Oh yeah, that's really beginning to break down now. I'm going to say this has got about 10-15 seconds, and then we'll get ready to move it into the mousse. Okay, so I've hit it a little more with the microwave, and as you can see, it's nice and liquidy now. Now this is not finished, and what we're going to do now, which is really going to be cool, is we're going to go ahead and we're going to add some canola oil to this. And the reason we're going to do that is because the canola oil will help thin this out without adding any difference in the flavor, and it will also make the chocolate absorbed by the cream simply because of the fat content of the oil. It will allow to deliver the chocolate to the cream without causing the cream to break down. So always remember that you're using that canola oil to do just that with the chocolate. We're not really using that to do it for anything but to help deliver this to the cream. And that, my friends, is how mousse is made. Okay, we're going to go ahead and make our skewers, and what we're going to do is use this wonderful thing from Foodstuff.Biz, and we're going to just go ahead and skewer a raspberry and then a blueberry until we have a full skewer. So here we go. And so here we are. We have a nice looking skewer here. We've got the raspberry and the blueberry there, and it's nice and full to the rim, so we're going to keep it like that, and then we're going to use that at the very end. Okay, I'm going to take my bowl out of the freezer now, and I'm going to go ahead and start my whipped cream. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to take my cold bowl, pour my half a cup of whipped cream in the bowl, and I'm going to hand whisk this. And this is the best way to do it because if you put it in a processor or a blender, you got to sit there and you got to dig it all out. This is the easiest way to do it. So as you can see, it's starting to get thicker. It's not quite as thick as I need it to be yet, so I'll show you how thick it needs to be. But this took me about 1 minute to stir in the bowl like this. at a very brisk rate. Okay, and there you can see it's starting to show peaks. It's very solid. It's ready to receive the chocolate. Now you don't want to do this too quickly. You want to do this slowly and methodically. This is so that you make sure that you don't melt the cream. Make sure your chocolate has a time to thin down so that when you mix it in there, it doesn't start breaking the cream down. Very important that you use a spatula and not a whisk so that you can get that nice creamy texture to that cream. Because if you do that too quickly, then you'll continue to beat the cream with the chocolate, or then the cream will start to break down. So you want to be sure that you do this properly with a spatula. Okay, I have some chocolate left over here, and that's a good thing. You didn't want to use all of the chocolate. And I'm going to use that for a little bit of garnish and to really enhance my plate. I have my mousse ready now, so we are going to start plating this bad boy up. Okay, I have this wonderful chocolate dessert ready to plate up on this white plate. You know, I love white plates, like to show off my food. I've got this acrylic glass-like looking oval for the mousse, to hold the mousse. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'm going to dip it in this chocolate here and get a nice lip on that high point of the cup. And as you can see, I got a really good lip there, and I'm ready to start putting my mousse into the cup. Okay, and so I've just about finished adding the mousse to there, and I'm just going to flatten that out and make that cup nice and neat. Okay, so here you can see I've put the wonderful mousse with the chocolate-lipped acrylic containers straight from Foodstuff.Biz. And this is really cool because when we're done with this, we can just discard this. But the great thing about this is it's a really, really cool presentation. And we're going to just dress this up a little more. The first thing I'm going to do is remove the cup, making sure not to touch the chocolate lip because that could get really messy. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add just a little bit of the mousse in the middle so that when I place this on there, it's not going to go anywhere. And that looks really cool too because it looks like it's just bleeding out the bottom. So then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take our fruit skewer and I'm going to place the fruit skewer right like that. And then I'm going to take some chocolate and I'm just going to put a little bit on the top like that. Look at that. Look at that, folks. And then I'm just going to take two nice bit puddles. One there. And one there. Okay? And now, here comes the cool part. Remember that Kahlua? We're going to take that Kahlua right now. We're going to use the infuser. You want to push it all the way in the middle there. Another great thing from Foodstuff.Biz. And just get all of that Kahlua into that little container like that. Awesome. Awesome. And we're going to make this a nice interactive plate by throwing it right there. And now the guest is going to be able to say, what do I do? And you're just saying, you're going to grab your Kahlua, put it over the chocolate mousse, and then dip your berry skewer into the mousse for a wonderful treat. And I'm just going to finish it off here with a cool little blueberry on the top. And look at that, folks. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the most incredible dessert that you could put out there as a small little tasty chocolate treat for someone. This is chocolate mousse with a fruit skewer. Bon appetit.